Hello. Okay. I can hear me. Yay. Woohoo.
Your water's blue.
It is. It's Gatorade.
That's crazy.
It is crazy.
You put Gatorade into an empty bottle?
No, it's
Okay.
powder Gatorade.
Okay.
That seems backwards, yeah. Today's National Hydration Day.
Ooh.
I learned at Kroger they were selling water bottles for like $6.
One bottle?
No, like you know, like the
I wouldn't be surprised.
the refillable, you know, metal.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Poop. Energy.
So you guys listen to any music?
No. I listened to it last night, and that's when I learned the songs. At least one of them. Oh, I don't know what to do with my hands thing.
Jazz hands.
Just like, hello.
I don't.
Or you don't like necromancy?
We got a 3D camera.
Yeah.
Gotta get our money's worth.
I'm going to go record the podcast in a 3D camera, so you have to, like, throw stuff every now and again. You better be watching. Welcome to episode 5 of this thing called the Album Sharing Sessions.
Yo.
Where
Did we throw you off?
we make each other listen to 3 different albums. Each one of us picks one, makes the other ones listen to it. We then come together and review those said albums.
It's a book club for
Yeah.
albums.
Yeah, so this time we had a theme. Every 5 episodes will be themed. This theme was Pride Month because June. All of it was in June. Weirdly enough, like even the picking, the recording, the editing, even this will be out, which I don't think will ever happen again.
But, yeah,
it's really weirdly.
Barely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I made the rainbow behind my head to fit the theme. And yeah, but weirdly enough, in the past before this was recording, when we had more people and did this before, it was actually the first gimmick round.
It was blue.
Yeah.
That was it. there was no other
Yeah.
criteria. It was just blue.
So most of us just stuck with the album covers being blue, but we did Back to Beautiful by Picturesque, Eternal Blue by Spirit Box,
Yeah.
Collide with the Sky by Pierce the Veil, and Behemoth by Ghost. Or Ghost.
I think it's Ghost. Ghost is somebody else.
I'm not sure. I say
Silent
Ghost,
H.
but in my head I say Ghost.
I can write on my note Silent H. This time, we are at Pride Month, like we just said, but we are covering Control My Sanity by Like Pacific.
Saturation 3 by Brockhampton.
And Hit Me Hard and Soft by Billie Eilish.
Which fits our theme. To start the episode, besides this little intro, we are not music reviewers. We are not professionals. We just sit down and I think this is fun.
That's right. That's right.
Our opinion really doesn't matter. Our scores are arbitrary, and we're just kind of doing this because it's fun to get together and talk about music.
Welcome to the podcast where the reviews don't matter and the
Yeah,
scores
yeah.
are made up.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. Just wanted to get that out of the way. We blew our chance at success last time by me not saying that.
Why?
Because somehow our last episode blew up in one day and got 112 views in one day, which is more than...
The algorithm had our back.
More than any other video we've had at that point in one day. It's over 200 now, which is cool. It's like slowly growing. But at the same time, 30% of that is from the UK, probably because we covered Arctic Monkeys. And we said they were too British.
You're welcome.
So,
sort of.
Take it back.
Our chance of fame is... So now I'm going to put disclaimers in front of stuff because we're just 3 guys. We don't know music theory. We have very particular taste. And most of the time we don't even agree.
That's right.
Which, if you listen to the episode, you know. Very opinion based. And to tell you the truth, we normally don't even care if it's like a big influential album. We normally are just like, I don't like it. Screw it. Too British.
Too old in your case.
Yeah. So our chance of fame is gone. We've blown it. Now we're just gonna be.
We had it all and we blew it.
We had it all. We had 200 views.
Hey
So,
man, 205 views is pretty
I'm
good.
really happy with it.
I never thought that
But
we'd even crack 100.
it won't happen again because we talked bad about the British.
We didn't talk bad about them.
So now we talked bad about their band. So next time we cover the UK, it's got to all be 9s.
Yeah.
No matter what.
Well, this time I'm picking a Canadian band, so maybe we'll get.
Me too.
Are you really?
Or do you mean next time? Or
next.
Oh, okay. I was
end.
like Pacific is Canadian. But darn. Oh well. But yeah.
Cut that out.
No, I will leave it. I'll amplify your burp. I'll make it the loudest thing.
That's our intro.
I'll put a bookmark where Brandon burping.
It's our only timestamp.
I thought I was safe because there was like a pause.
We went through.
I was like, this now or never. I gotta get this burp out.
I went through yesterday and added bookmarks to everything or chapters because I did it with the first episode and it worked great.
Yeah.
Second episode, I put them in the description the same way I did the first, and didn't work. It just gave us like timestamps in the description to like click on it. I was like, I wonder why that never worked.
It's funny you mention that because when I went back to update the spreadsheet the other day, I went to all the videos because I didn't remember the scores, and I was like, well, this first one has the things, and it was pretty helpful, but I had to scroll on the rest of them.
As of last night, now they all do.
Oh, nice.
Because you can't have chapters in a video if you don't start at 0.00. So you have to have a chapter at the very beginning or none of them will be chapters.
Oh.
We gotta have an episode 0, I guess. That's what we did.
Well, you just have to basically make an introduction chapter. Just annoying stuff.
Start a video.
Yeah.
The prologue.
Yeah, so I learn something every week. Or every time we do this. That time it was that. Last time it was that I had to drag the audio under the video to edit it.
Who wants to start?
So I have the most to say probably about Hit Me Hard and Soft, but also I wanted to go into it having you last.
Me last.
But I have probably the least to say about yours.
I don't know if that's a good or bad thing.
It's neither. I don't know.
I don't.
Having a lot to say or a little bit to say doesn't actually matter in the review at all.
I feel like I don't have much to say about any of the albums really, but I never do.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough.
That's
yeah.
I kind of struggled this week because like I listen to the albums a lot, like probably more on average than I did with all the previous weeks, and I still don't really know how I feel about any of them.
Okay, so if we go longest or shortest to longest, it'll go me, Timmy, Brent.
Okay.
So we'll just do that. Yeah, they are probably the smallest band we've ever covered in this like podcast form. But they are at 37,000 monthly listeners, which like in comparison, Billie Eilish is at 99 million.
It's a bit lopsided.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Brockhampton's at 4 million if we wanted to do the whole episode. But I was even like, I was confused with how small they were, where I was like looking up other bands that I thought were small. They're the smallest I'd probably listen to on a regular basis.
Yeah, I've never heard of them until you assigned the album last time.
Yeah. I found them because Plaid Room had their records in stock. That's really it. I was in my like crazy record buying phase where I was like, I'm gonna buy anything that I like, or even sounds okay, and Plaid Room
that looks cool.
Plaid Room had their first two. Never really listened to them much, to tell you the truth. I really only know this one, but I listened to this one and bought this one. Came out December 3rd of 2021, which I go on record a lot to say is the best year of music ever. Every time I bring up a 2021, that's what I put in front of the table. There's
some pretty stiff competition.
I didn't actually know that it was 2021 until I wrote that down. I was like, hey, another one, 2021. Great. If you guys have any opening thoughts, go ahead.
Well, okay, so this is the album that I've had the hardest time to try and put my thoughts into words on, because it's one of those albums where I think we've all had an album like this when before we started discussing them in person and just, on our messenger, where it's like, this was okay, I don't have much to say about it.
Yeah.
That's like this album for me. So I was a little apprehensive going into this podcast because I really just don't have a whole lot to say about it. I don't think it's bad. I actually think it's good, but I don't love it at all. Like, I don't have any strong feelings for this album. I think I could probably tell you 2 songs that like stood out among the rest because a lot of the album sort of sounded samey to me. Yeah. Which is, I don't know if that's just the pop punk thing for me, but like a lot of pop punk bands have that. It's like, well, if you don't really stand out, you kind of just, you go by the wayside and you just kind of...
That is fair.
You just stay in that middle ground where it's like, yeah, you're all right, but you're no, Blink-182, no... So, like, you're never going to reach those heights.
I thought pretty much the same thing. Like, it all really blended together. Nothing stood out to me. It sounded like half of all the albums Tristan has
as I was like, yeah, this is a Tristan album, right? Like that was one of my first thoughts, which is not an insult. It's just
it just sounded like something I'd already listened to.
Yeah.
So when it comes to pop punk, I like this sound more than the most of the other generic type. If you want to say generic, I don't know, it's just pop punk. They sound like in her own words to me, which I've also made you guys listen to. And that is like my favorite band in the whole genre.
I think that was another band that I had the same spiel about. Where I was like, yeah, it's fine, but nothing to write home about.
It is definitely pop punk. Like there's not really a lot. Like they're not innovating anyway.
No.
The vocals are a little harder than normal pop punk stuff.
I will give them that. That was like kind of the one saving grace. Well, I mean, depending on whether you like that or not. Yeah. But it sort of set them apart from, the rest of the genre. But it didn't really move the needle that much.
Yeah. The first 4 songs are all fantastic. They're all like super energetic, like super punchy, mostly very angry and mean lyrics, which is cool. I don't know, it's not my normal thing.
Track 3, the title track, was my favorite.
Yeah, same.
That was one that actually like stood out, and I've listened to that one just on its own repeatedly. It was that and Waste of Breath.
Yeah,
which was it's very dichotic. Like that one's different. Like it's on the slower side, but I actually thought that one was pretty well done.
But yeah, it's 29 minutes. It's a short one. I enjoy this album because I go to it when I'm like in like a better mood and like just want something fast paced.
Summertime is good for pop punk. I've found. I don't know if you share that opinion, but like in the wintertime, I don't really want to listen to pop punk, but summer is good for this kind of music.
Yeah, I've actually said a few times where like I have bands that I want to pick, but it's not the right season, and then it just gets away from me.
That's why I waited till like November to pick Brand New.
No, it fits the thing there. But every time I listen to it, because it's so short and because it's so punchy, and then it's like, it seems like as soon as I start it, it's over sometimes. I never listen to it just once, ever. Which I was noticing when, like, I'll just play it in my headphone. And then as soon as it ends, I'm like, that's only 29 minutes, I'll just start it again. Over and over.
That was me with 10,000 Gex this last year.
Where, I think it ends up making it to where I listen to it for like an hour and a half. And it's just like, okay, this album's really long now. Time to move on. I normally start 2 or 3 times.
I will give it credit. It didn't overstay its welcome.
Yeah. And again, it's short. It's probably my biggest complaint, but not really. I like that it's short. It's really like its only thing that I can't give it like a crazy high score because it's like it's over and done with pretty fast. I wrote down a handful of the mean lyrics, just like a list of them, where I guess I'll just go through the list. There's one that says, I kind of want to watch you burn a bit. And then, I was never your friend and you're just another waste of breath. And your smile is worthless.
That one struck a chord.
Those are pretty mean lyrics.
Yeah. Yeah, and I was reading, like, interviews and stuff to, like, learn more about them because, to tell you the truth, I don't know much about them. I've listened to this album a lot. That's it. I didn't even know the lead singer was gay until we started doing research to do this episode, and I was like, hey, I actually like Pacific. But yeah, it's like 7 or so really punchy, really energetic pop punk songs that I like a lot. About 3 slower ones just to kind of change up the pace. But I think it's really good. I like it a lot. My least favorite's probably Adored. I feel like it could probably go. It's also the shortest on it.
I couldn't come up with a least favorite just because, like I said, of the songs that I didn't really like, they were all just kind of samey.
Yeah.
So nothing really was like too offensive or boring. Again, it's just like, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's okay.
I found it interesting that there's actually only 2 songs on it that are less than 3 minutes, even though it's a very short album. Just like weird fun facts that I noticed when listening to it. But yeah, I also really don't have a crazy amount to say. I just really like this flavor of pop punk. Like, I don't know if you guys know Knuckle Puck. They're up there right now. Like, they sound like this. And In Our Own Words sounds like this. I really like them a lot. And that's just another one. I've just wanted to show you guys this album because it's fun pop punk stuff.
Yeah, I mean, this is something like if it came on during shuffle or something, I wouldn't be mad at it.
Yeah, it's just like a thing you could probably keep on a phone.
But like, I wasn't crazy about it.
Yeah, and I couldn't. Yeah,
I'd skip it, but I wouldn't hate it.
I mean, yeah, like I don't think I listened to it 10 times out of 10 if it came on, but.
But I've also been noticing that our episodes, are like 10 to 15 minutes for your guys' albums, and I talk about mine for like 30. So I just wanted a short little one that I like enough to be like, hey, Tristan isn't crazy about everything he listens to. And this was it. You
don't have paragraphs on paragraphs. No,
this is the least I wrote because they're like, it's the shortest album. It is all kind of samey. I just like the same. And that's really about it.
Yeah, that's cool. It kind of sounds like we're about ready to wrap it up with this album. But it's all right. That was probably the shortest review we've ever done.
And that's exactly kind of what I wanted. If you guys want to score, go right ahead.
I mean, I don't. My language seems to indicate that I will give it a 5 because it just seems like a 5 album to me.
I was also going to give it a 5.
Hey.
I didn't hate it, didn't love it. It just sounded the same. I just don't really care for this genre at all, so I don't really know anything about it.
Yeah, I mean that's been stated before.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just like the sound more than other pop punk. There's a lot that, like Brandon said, where I'm like, it's there, it exists, it's not offensive, but like, oh well. Like Neck Deep's that to me. Like they're pretty big in the genre, but like I've listened to them. They're fine. I like them. They have a few albums that I'll go back to, but like I like this one, or I like this sound. And my favorites were Control My Sanity, Ketamine Jesus, and I wrote it really sloppily, but the last song,
Time won't heal.
Yeah, Time Won't Heal. It is, yeah. I always called it Can't Do This Anymore because the same year Mayday Parade released an album that also the closing song repeated Can't Do This Anymore over and over and over again, and it's actually called that. So I just figured they were the same. But yeah, I'll go 7.5.
5.8.
Yeah. But yeah, shortest Tristan review we'll probably ever have. Pretty happy about it.
Cool. All right.
Again, Billie Eilish is the biggest person we've ever covered, so if we wanted to do it last, we could.
I thought we were listening to Billy Idol.
Oh no. Billie Eilish. I don't care what order we do it in, but either way.
Yeah, I figured Timmy was going next.
Yeah.
All right. I was more prepared to talk about Billie Eilish.
Okay. I can give it an introduction because I started doing like little border cover things, where this album came out not that long ago, on May 17th.
Yeah, like a month ago.
May 17th of 2024. She has 99 million monthly listeners, like I just mentioned earlier. She's actually I think the 3rd most listened to artist on Spotify.
Probably behind Taylor Swift and...
I think it's Post
Drake,
Malone.
is it Drake? It can't be Drake anymore.
No, it's not.
No.
He was number 2.
Drake's at like 76 million, which is an absurd number still. But she just had an album out too, so those numbers kind of fluctuate a bit. But I think it's Post Malone, to tell you the truth. He's got like 9 diamond singles. He's way bigger than you think, kind of thing.
I've never listened to Post Malone music.
Yeah, I'm sure you've heard it, is the thing.
Yeah.
Because again, 9 diamond singles, like,
Yeah.
there's only 9 bands I think that have multiple ever. I only know that because 21 Pilots is one of them.
Yeah.
But
I think Post Malone's.
We have to get in the token 21 Pilots.
I have to mention them somewhere.
Shout out, yeah.
But yeah, Timmy, if you want to start your album, or we don't have to.
I don't know how to start an album.
I never had you do that before.
Yeah.
So I can if you don't want to.
By the way, in a shocking turn of events, Taylor Swift is number 2.
Really?
The Weeknd.
Oh, The
is
Weeknd,
number
yeah.
1.
Oh, really?
Is it not Post Malone? Where's Post Malone?
He's number 4.
That's what I thought. He was up there.
All right.
That's all that matters. I'm gonna leave all this nonsense in. This is gonna be the worst episode we've ever had.
We're gonna lose all our British people.
No, I think we already lost them. No,
We already lost our British viewership. We were gonna have 2 viewers.
Oh no.
One will be me trying to put chapters into the video.
The other will be your mom.
Yeah, that's it. And if there's any more, I'm deleting the video. I'm trying to hide because there's a mirror there now.
I don't know why we all looked at it. Like they
Yeah.
can't see it.
We need another camera facing here.
I have another pointer too. I'm gonna put that back.
So Billie Eilish.
Billie Eilish.
Billie Eilish.
Okay, on to Brockhampton.
White Wedding.
We've covered When We All Fall Asleep, Where Do We Go before
Yes,
her first album.
We have listened to Billie Eilish before.
Yes.
It got a 6.1 between all of us. We all kind of had the same thought process of like about half the songs being worth listening to and keeping. The other half could be forgettable and gone forever.
Yeah.
I liked most of the songs.
Yeah.
I like it more than you guys did.
Yeah. But yeah, that was kind of the general consensus of that one. 6.1 is really good for when it was.
6.1 is still like a solid score.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for us that's pretty good.
We had 5 people in the group when that happened too. So
Yeah.
the reviewing was.
Odds were against it.
That's to get it. Yeah, that's a testament.
It was one of the only ones that Timmy had picked at that point that I actually knew beforehand. Which, just a side note, I guess.
I was trying to pick some pretty obscure things at first, and then I ran out of them.
Yeah, obscure like Heart and
Yeah.
Pink Floyd.
No,
I don't remember if Pink Floyd was after or before
like
that.
Jack Stauber.
Yeah, YouTubers, basically. I've personally kind of followed her career, like, from a distance. I think it's interesting what she does in her career past. She brought, like, some darkness into pop.
Yeah.
Which I think is fun. Again, the first album, I like about half of it. I've kept it on my phone since it came out. Her second album, there's like 2 of the 19 songs or something that I actually like. I kind of fell off. Not that there hasn't been any other albums since then. But I kind of listened to that one once and then kind of just dropped it forever. And I tried to listen to it actually earlier today, and I was like, I understand why I dropped this forever, because it's really just like Therefore I Am and Happier Than Ever, and the rest of it's kind of...
Yeah, I did not care for the previous one very much.
Very much a sophomore slump, for sure. I was going to do the same with this one, because I'd actually listened to this one beforehand. Because, again, I've loosely followed her career. Because I think it's cool. I think her way into the scene was cool, where I'm like, she's doing something new, it's getting popular. I was like, all for it. I thought it was going to make rock music more popular, to tell you the truth. I was like, You Should See Me in a Crown, and like, songs like that are not stereotypical pop stuff, so I thought it was going to branch other genres and make them bigger. But I was excited for it when it was going on. But I'm happy that we went back and Timmy made me listen to this more than I had before. So I was going to write this off again, and now I don't feel that way anymore. Which is actually why I went back to the second album, because like, maybe I was just being
Maybe you were wrong.
overdoing it then too.
I don't know like anything from the second album, so I have like a void.
Yeah,
in between the first album
I've listened to it.
And this one.
I've listened to it 2 or 3 times, and it is just kind of a void.
Yeah, I listened to it once. I kind of want to go back and listen to it again. Because I thought maybe I don't know, didn't give it enough of a chance. I started really bad there. I don't know what happened. But
didn't give it a fair chance.
Yeah, I feel like I didn't give it a fair chance or something, but
I have a strange feeling that you will not change your mind.
I don't think I will.
I had the thing. I'm having... Just throw all of our viewership in the trash. Her second album reminds me a lot of what I have to do with like later Taylor Swift stuff, like her last two albums, where I can skip it and it sounds the same, and then I skip it and it sounds the same, and I skip it. And that's how that second album went. Where even when I got halfway through it, it's an hour long, for one.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm gonna get through this. I started getting bored about halfway, and I was like, I know the last two songs are good, or the last three. It's like, well, is this one good? No. Is this one good? No. just crap on everybody's most popular artist, or ruin our American viewership, ruin it all. Episode 5 is when we burn it down.
Burning down the house.
But yeah, if you guys have any opening thoughts, I kind of went song by song with this one. Not all of them, but I was writing it as I was doing it. And
Makes sense.
figuring out that my album was broken.
Yeah. No.
So,
Did you mention that?
No.
On this.
So also, my album was broken for some reason on Apple Music. I wrote it down because I actually thought it was like a major thing, and it was just my phone. My writing's a little brutal with it just being my phone, but I said Apple Music is broken. For some reason, Blue, the song, was where it was in the album, and also took the spot of the song The Greatest. And then for some reason, The Greatest, the song, got pushed to where L'amour de mi vie?
We'll just call it Love of My Life for
L'amour
short, I guess.
de ma vie. Or, yeah, de ma vie. We'll go with that. Was where that was. And that song, Love of My Life, I'll just make it easier on myself, was not on it at all. It was there, and it was in the place of The Greatest, but it was not there at all. And then when I was listening to it on a different service yesterday, that's when I found out that I had never heard one of the songs we needed to record and actually make a review on. If you actually look at my hand-scribbled notes that I sometimes can't even read, I actually wrote my greatest review as L'amour de mi, and then went back and scribbled that out. So I was very confused on why she said,
I can imagine.
Maybe you're the greatest, or maybe I'm the greatest over and over and over and over and over again in a song not called The Greatest. Also, why I didn't realize that Blue was there twice, I don't know. Because in my brain, I was just like, oh, she's doing a lot of callbacks in this.
I kind of have the opposite problem where, you know how Blue kind of like, it transitions from the previous song.
Yeah.
I didn't even know like that was like another song.
Oh.
When I first listened to it blindly.
I'd actually grouped them together, where I was just like, oh, if The Greatest is actually this song, then maybe it's actually one big 9-minute song with for some reason, some 3-minute interlude in between. But it's not. Also, Timmy, I wanted to ask, is the YouTube music version of this album the weird live thing she did? Is there like random clapping in yours? And
no, I don't think so.
Because when I watched it, I say watched because like
in Skinny there is, I think. I think it's
like Skinny, and I think actually Love of My Life are the two that she like references the crowd. But it seems like she did this weird thing, like maybe an album listening party or something, where it's in a stadium, and it's just like her with the tracks playing over and her like dancing to it or something.
I don't know.
But that was what showed up when I watched it on Apple Music. So I watched a performance of her like listening to it with people kinda, but also like lights and dancing, and
I guess I'm the only one that had a normal album listening experience.
it was really strange.
I didn't get none of that.
I didn't get any of that either.
Okay, so if you when I played it on Apple Music, it showed me videos of that.
I use the same service you do. I didn't have any of these problems.
On my iPad on YouTube Music, they play out the music videos if they have one. Like when I'm listening through it, so I'll watch them if they're there. And everyone had one because they did that weird live kind of performance thing. I don't even know what it is. I was like, what is this? And then I found out there was a crowd, and I was like, is this a weird listening party? Which I guess what it was. But that was my only question for it. You guys have any notes on Skinny? I went in order.
I don't have notes on anything.
Yeah, I don't have any notes on like any
Thoughts.
particular song.
I guess I have a little bit of notes on Chihiro.
Okay, that's the only one I don't, so go ahead.
Okay.
Really?
All of that song is a reference to the Studio Ghibli movie Spirit Away.
I did not catch that.
But
I will say that was my favorite track, or my favorite song on the album. So
yeah, I didn't know that the first time I listened to it. I liked it a lot, and then I knew all the references, and then I loved the song even more. I made Tristan watch Spirit Away like when we were kids.
Yeah, I
like
vaguely
once.
remember that. I don't remember any
Yeah,
other references.
I'll have to show you guys like a video of all the references and stuff.
I'm gonna go back to Skinny just because I wrote notes for it.
Okay.
It's a very I don't want to say boring because it's mean, but very soft opening to an album.
Yeah.
And definitely kind of like you said with that Handsome Devil, where it's just like, why would you open the album with this? I mostly just want to bring it up because I did like the orchestral ending that it ends with, but I don't see the point of it, which is kind of a running theme with this album that I have. Or like it didn't seem like a lot of it had endings that were planned out, and they're like, when do I end this song?
that was one of my main gripes about this album.
Because again, the orchestral stuff is cool, and I'm a sucker for it, but like I don't know why it was there. It wasn't in the song. Lunch is the next song on it, and it's definitely like the single. It's the Billie Eilish flair. It's her type of song. It's gonna get popular kind of thing. It's almost like it's single bait.
Yeah, I actually had the same exact thoughts. It's like, well, we gotta get a song for the radio.
Yeah,
and it's like,
which to bring up just a cool thing that is just a side note. I like how she released this album where there actually wasn't a single until it came out. Or like it almost seems like she's trying to bring Taylor Swift did the same thing. Where it almost seems like they're trying to bring back the album, which I appreciate.
yeah, but now she's going way too far with it.
Yeah, but hey, album sales show people that people want albums again. So that's how I prefer my music. I don't like the singles age we're in. But I think it's my least favorite of her singles, like ever. I think she's done that sound better.
I wasn't a big fan.
I liked Lunch a lot.
It's good.
Yeah.
I just couldn't help but prepare it in my mind to like Bad Guy or other things that sound vaguely similar. Other Billie Eilish singles. But yeah, it's fine. That's yeah.
Okay.
You had the next song we already talked about.
Chihiro?
Yeah.
Chihiro's the best song on the album.
It's probably my least favorite. It's probably my least favorite.
I didn't dislike any song.
No, it's not.
on
Never
the
mind.
album.
It's one that I didn't write notes for. I didn't think it was significant to me at all.
I think you gotta know the like Spirit Away
Apparently not.
references.
Yeah, I
really
didn't.
appreciate the song.
I just thought it was something different. I don't like. You were talking about how Lunch is like the Billie Eilish flair.
Yeah.
This was kind of not so much that. You know what I mean? Like, this was her going in a semi-new direction. Like, it's still got that Billie Eilish touch on it, but it went in a sort of new direction.
So, like, actually, I have a note for it, and I crossed it out because I didn't think it was worth mentioning.
Well, little did you know that we were...
Yeah, I didn't know it was going to be your guys' favorite. It's not my least, like I said it was, because I have other leasts. Birds of a Feather's next, I think. It's at least the next one I have notes about.
Birds of a Feather was probably my most favorite on the whole album.
It is, I'd say, probably like the most normal, poppiest, modern song that she's made. It kind of sounds like, I don't want to say it sounds like Taylor Swift, but it's kind of the same vibe. But there are some vocal runs at the end of it that are really cool. Like, super talented, showing off a little bit.
This stretch we're talking... Well, we haven't talked about Wildflower yet.
Yeah.
But this stretch of Chihiro through Wildflower is probably, like, the only thing I really liked about this album.
Yeah, I mean,
I'll just get into it because like the whole second half ending of this album, I just thought was incredibly boring, and didn't really care for it at all.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's fair.
There's a lot of like the song that you did not know existed, the Love of My Life, has just that really unnecessary like synth ending to it.
Yeah.
I thought that was 2 songs for the first time.
I did too, and then I'm like, this is still the same song, and it doesn't make it like, why is this here?
I thought it was strange, but I still enjoyed the whole song like as it is. But I don't know why it is the way it is.
Yeah, I didn't listen to it that much afterwards. I listened to it like 4 times or so I could get on here and say stuff about it, and I didn't really have anything to say about it. Is the problem. But Wildflower and The Greatest, that run is probably my favorite. Just adding The Greatest on to
See, I don't know. I didn't really like The Greatest.
Yeah,
No.
The Greatest is my least favorite. Like, I don't hate it, but I think it's the weakest.
Man, Greatest is one of my favorite Billie Eilish songs after listening to this. All together.
I just think she says the greatest too much in the song. Like, just kind of goes on and on, says the same thing. But I still like it, and I like how it ends.
I like I guess since I'm the lyrical pick-apart person in the group more so, I think those 2 songs have the best story. Not really story, but lyrics. Like, Wildflower is about helping a friend cope through a breakup, but then getting with that guy, and then that relationship ends, not being able to handle the friendship loss, which I think is a really interesting concept to write a song about.
She does kind of like bring the theme around like throughout the course of the album, which is a nice touch. I don't know if she really executed it as well as she could have, but I definitely appreciate the attempt at having a running theme through the album.
Yeah, The Greatest, it's mostly my favorite because of the belting, screaming Greatest at the end. It's probably the most amount of, like, singing I've seen Billie Eilish ever do, and that's why I gravitated towards it so much. Also just a song about trying to find affection in a relationship, which I found relatable, I guess, is the biggest thing. I think it's done really well. The belting at the end is what sold it for me, though. Because I like when people do that. I like when they're like, hey, I'm talented. Listen to it.
I think she does really show off her vocals.
Yeah.
In The Greatest. Like right at the end.
It's like if you thought Billie Eilish just whispered all the time. Most of the time. But also she can belt randomly, and it's fantastic and one of the best pop things I've heard in a long time. This is where I wrote my stupid ranting about Apple Music. Being dumb, because it was when I found that out, scribbled that out, and said, wait, my album's broken. But then found out I didn't really miss anything, and it kind of just broke up the pacing when listening to it, because Blue is my least favorite of the album. And having it twice in the album did not help it.
Yeah, I don't know why someone would do that.
Because it's just there. It has like a 4-minute outro. It's just a song that exists to me. I don't know. I don't care for it. Bittersweet, the second last song on the album, also my second least favorite. For some reason, this album just doesn't close well.
Bittersweet and Blue is basically just the same song.
Yeah.
Like, I said that earlier, but like
they blend together a lot when I listen to the album.
Yeah, probably my least 2 favorite. I think the Diner is cool as well, just to go back to it.
I think the Diner is probably my least favorite.
I like the Diner.
It's like creepy. I like creepy stuff.
I just didn't get it.
It's a song written in a perspective of stalkers.
Yeah.
For like of her, which she I guess dealt with a few. Because obviously huge pop star, young age, but people are creepy. But for some reason they wrote a song in their perspective, and it's creepy and it works, and I like it. But I wrote my favorites are The Greatest and Wildflower. And it's not perfect. I do like it, but it's way better than her second album for sure.
Yeah.
I do like her first one more.
I do as well. I think it has more replayability.
I think she's on an EP before that too. That's also really good.
I think I like this album more than the first one.
I think that's also a fair assumption. I juggled them.
Like, I don't know. Maybe it's just me. It probably is just me because 99 million people listen to it on Spotify. But I don't like. Does anyone feel like the novelty of Billie Eilish is kind of wearing thin?
I think that's
like not really.
No.
I almost feel like that's why Lunch is the only song like Lunch, or like she's changing it up. I wish it wasn't the slower direction she was going. I wish it was more energetic or more belty ballad type stuff. But yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. When I listen to the debut, it just has like this different aura about it than this one brings. Again, I haven't listened to the sophomore album, but I guess I'm not missing much. But I don't know. It's just I like I said,
I do get it.
The debut album has way more replayability for me.
Yeah. Yeah. That again, I was gonna write this one off because my first listen, I was like, oh, this is just another boring album. But I dug into it more. I figured out my Apple Music stuff. I like it.
At the 11th hour.
Yeah. Not that song added anything. I didn't write any notes about it. I didn't care for it. The synth thing was weird. I didn't not like it, though. Like, weird beat shifts are fine with me. But
I don't like, to me, this album, it has like an okay start with the first two songs. Then it gets pretty good in the middle, and then the last half is just really hard to keep my attention with. It's just it's not very engaging.
My keeping my attention stuff is just the last two songs. Everything else is fine, or great, or there.
I don't know. Maybe I just don't get it.
Work. But yeah, I'm gonna go with my same exact score with a 7.5 that I gave my album.
Cool. Well, I loved this album. I've listened to it a whole lot since she released it. I'm not sure what the intended theme of the album is supposed to be, but it seems like it's like perspectives of love, like varying different perspectives.
I think that's pretty much what I got out of it. Yeah, and then there's kind of like a sort of like an underwaterness to it, with the album
cover,
like a sinking feeling or something. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. Out of this album, I give it a 10.
Okay, cool. Fair enough.
No, criticisms of it?
Not really. I mean,
you can't with a 10.
I liked every.
Well, you can, but
I mean,
no.
I mean, I had a few small criticisms to some songs I think are a little boring, but I love a lot of the songs, and they all make it up for it in the score, I think.
Fair enough.
So, yeah, 10.
Wow. I am nowhere near that. I don't hate the album, but
gotta bring down Timmy's score.
Give
it 0.
I'm not the biggest Billie Eilish fan. I think the first album is a pretty good flash in the pan. I think it's good for what it is. But I don't.
Didn't you know it was the top 30th best album of all time?
I guess it on the last thing. I don't
messing with you.
I don't have a problem with that album being on that list. That list has a lot of problems. I don't think the placement of that album is a problem.
I'm just having fun.
Anyway, just in so many words, I'm not her biggest fan, but I was kind of hoping for more from this album. Maybe not in 10 out of 10 territory, but I was hoping that at least. I just kind of thought she would take a bigger step forward than. I mean, I guess Timmy, I clearly think she did, but
yeah.
To me, it was kind of one step forward, 2 steps back for her. I'll go with a 4.5.
Okay.
I was not super keen on this album, but I didn't hate it.
Yeah, this one grew on me throughout the 3 weeks. Or again, I was going to listen to it and pass it up forever. You're also our averager.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm happy I went back to it. I'll keep a handful of songs from it. Kind of like her first album.
Well, I used to putting a 10 on here.
Yeah. I like it when you guys give ridiculously high scores.
7.3.
I think that's fair.
I thought it was going to be that.
Sorry to bring your
I love
score
hearing
down,
you guys.
It's still really high.
I love hearing you guys talk about stuff you like. It's fun. Especially because it brings stuff away from me where it's like, oh, Tristan's a psychopath and falls in love with everything.
Well, speaking of stuff I really like. that I don't know if anybody else will. We have.
Do we have to give you a good score because it's almost your birthday?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. You gotta be honest. I don't want dishonesty.
Almost birthday score. Actual score. So, Saturation 3.
Saturation 3. We skipped. We skipped.
Well, that's the end of the episode. We do that joke twice.
It worked so well the first time.
Yeah, everybody laughed. It broke the internet.
All 2 of our audience members.
It's just as funny as Kim Kardashian naked.
That's a relic. I got that reference.
I don't get it.
She
It broke the internet.
Oh, that. Okay. Yeah.
My dumb joke I did twice.
Like the weird water thing.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
That sort of.
I'll just talk about this first. Came out December 15 of 2017. They have 4 million monthly listeners on Spotify. That's normally... I'm just saying that because it's kind of my best way to see how big these artists are beforehand. I look at like 3 different platforms to get these. Right, I look at Spotify numbers to see how many people are still listening to them. I think I go to Apple Music to find out the release date.
No, okay, so is the 4 million like today? Like
yeah,
current?
monthly.
Okay. I was going to say, because like back then, this is probably way higher.
Oh, I'm sure.
But sadly, Brockhampton is not around anymore, and probably a lot of people have moved on.
I'm sure. But I'll put a chapter in for my burp too.
All right, Timmy, you got to do it.
I got to finish the episode off with the burp now.
Just... This is
Brockhampton.
I love the mess of this episode.
We're going to lose subscribers.
Great. I thought it was funny with the last one where none of our UK viewership wanted to subscribe.
I wonder why that is.
Oh, weird.
It's almost like we're from Ohio. Maybe that'll get us more viewership. We're like, we're from Ohio. We're the meme
not
state.
British enough.
Not British enough.
It needs to be more British.
1 out of 10. It needs more British.
More British, please.
With
more
Italian.
British accent. There is an Irish singer on it. I don't know if that counts.
It doesn't.
My notes for this album are the most scatterbrained of them all.
That checks out for a Brockhampton album because it is.
I wrote
by nature they are a melting pot of like they are a self-described boy band, so there's a lot of different vocalists going on here. I would like to like take a peek at your notes, but I don't like if they're as scatterbrained as you make it seem.
I basically had talking points I wanted to bring up, but then I wanted to make lists. But then as I was listening to it, I went back and forth to lists.
Oh, okay. I'll give like just a brief kind of history on the band. So this is Saturation 3. They made Saturation 1 and 2 and 3 all in the same year, 2017.
That's why it came out so late, I'm guessing. December 15th, pretty late.
Yeah, so it was like a run from like May to December of 2017. It was like a crazy historic run of this really like grassroots kind of formation of their band. They all met on a Kanye West fan forum.
Oh, man, so they're all racist.
And Kevin Abstract, the kind of like, I guess he's like the lead. You could say like he does most.
I've seen that he does his own stuff now.
He does most of like the hooks on their songs. Was just like, hey, anyone want to make music? And then a couple people from the area reached out and they formed this group.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so kind of like how you were saying, like how Billie Eilish kind of had like a very unique start. Like these guys were like, I don't know if you guys have heard of them like back then or even at all.
I just have heard the band name because I follow a few music reviewers.
They were like huge in 2017 for just like coming out of nowhere and dropping the Saturation trilogy.
I did my fair bit of research to find that out too, just because I do that.
And probably also to figure out like who's who.
I didn't even try.
Oh, you did.
I looked at their.
It's really not as bad as you.
I looked at their member list and it was like 30 people long, and I was like,
okay,
nope,
well, that's not...
I'm good.
Yeah, that's counting like they literally like list all their like producers and like their merch guy is like considered a part of the band. But really, it comes down to the main dudes. I'll list them here. It's Kevin Abstract, Matt Champion, Dom, Amir, who was kicked out after this album.
I did find that out too.
What did he do?
Merlin,
Sexual misconduct.
Merlin, Joba, and Bareface, who isn't on that many songs on this album in particular. He's on more songs in the future after Amir leaves or gets kicked out, however you want to phrase it.
I thought it was cool to find out why it's called Saturation as well, because the whole like their goal was to become popular by putting out so much music that you couldn't escape it. Basically,
they wanted
like
to,
saturating.
They wanted to spam the market, and it worked.
Yeah,
That's interesting.
So I did my bit, this much research just to find out like where they came from. That little segment right there that they released 3 this year. But everything else I have is all list and song edits.
Song edits?
Oh, things that I list off an album kind of thing. This one's scatterbrained. Like, there's so many spaces. And so, Boogie is the first song. I guess I'll just start because I do that.
That facts.
That song I wrote down is a lot of fun. Shows off a lot of the people. I like how they swap off verses, whatnot. I hate the whooping. I think it is the most annoying thing. That song would be so much better without the whooping.
I like the whooping. I think the whooping's fun.
It's just so much. I
think that's kind of the point, though.
Yeah.
They want to open off the album with just this huge burst of energy.
What's fun about it is that I still really like the song. It's just like, man, there's this thing here that doesn't stop.
I don't even notice it anymore.
I had listened to it downstairs, and Ty had said that it sounds like when her windshield wipers are going and there's no water. So she would rather not see than listen to it.
I think the sample for this song is literally just like a police siren.
Yeah,
that
I think
was
so
like
too.
Deconstructed by their producer Ramil, who is like kind of the unsung hero of Brockhampton. Yeah. He's not one of the vocalists, but he's a major part of the group.
I really wish it was just the...
He does like all the beats and stuff.
I did wish it was just the trumpet. Like the little cool trumpet beat in the back is really good. And I, again, still do like the song. I just really don't like the whooping. I don't know why. I wrote down in this that this review... What I wrote down on paper is a lot more negative than how I feel. But I guess that is the nature of reviews. You kind of have to point out the bad and the good. And it's just a lot harder to write down good without saying the same word over and over again.
Yeah.
But I said in this that it almost feels like every song like rake steps at some point. Like, I really like it. I'm like, oh, this is a song. And then they just have some annoying thing in it that just irritated me for no reason. That just brought it down.
Such as...
Where the whooping in both the first 2 songs. The kid voice I didn't like. Liquid and Stupid, even though I think I wrote Stupid's my favorite song.
So, okay, so I love Brockhampton, but Kevin's, like, auto-tune falsetto thing can get annoying. Like, that's 100% valid.
And then, like, it's just little stupid stuff. Like, where I'll like the whole song, and then it's just like, here's this 30-second thing where they just repeat the same line over and over again, or do an annoying kid voice.
But I think that's like kind of like what the magic of Brockhampton is like, yeah, there might be a part of the song you don't like, but there's like a million other things going on.
And I say that, and I start my review with that.
You're bound to find something that you think is good.
I say that, and I start my review with that, Hopefully. But I still have positive things to say. I just didn't write them down that much.
You can just go off the cuff.
And then, like, I wrote down that I didn't really like the talking flow that they do in almost the intro of every song. Where, like, he will be like, I'm a black man, and then another line that sounds exact same, or like, I found false hope, or that's I need to work, I used to work for people.
Okay, so that's what's known as Amir flow.
Okay.
That's kind of a meme within the Brockhampton fans. So all of those lines you just listed was Amir, and he is very guilty of just having the same flow.
Like, I grew up all alone.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty much the whole song Johnny as well, is that flow. I don't really care for that either. But again, it switches up like almost immediately, so how can I be like, these 10 seconds I really like, but the rest of the song's good? It's so strange to me. It's a hard one to write a review for. I also wrote that I'm a shithead son and I'm bad at growing up as a 21 Pilots line. It's not, but it could have been. It's basically
that's one of the hardest verses on this album, and that makes me sick that you just said that.
It's basically stressed out. Then, Doubt has a line, The Bridge of Doubt, which is a song you guys probably don't know, says I could have been a better brother, better son. Both on Blurry Face. It's a 21 Pilots line.
Oh no, that's gonna take some points off my review.
I was like, man, that sounds a lot like 21 Pilots, even though he said shit.
What? No, okay, so like how you mentioned on Boogie, that's one of their main strengths is how they just kind of bounce off each other from verse to verse. They don't do it on every song. Like, not all the songs feature the majority of the members. Sometimes it's only like 2 or 3.
Yeah.
But like Boogie's a really good showcase of it. It has almost all the members. It doesn't have Bareface in it, but they all get kind of like show you like a taste of what they can do to open up the album, which
it's good.
This was my introduction to Brockhampton. Like I started with Saturation 3, and when I heard Boogie, I was like, okay, like I'm in. Like, I want to hear more.
Yeah.
Like that's I think it's a brilliant opening to the album because it's so energetic and makes you want to hear more of what they have to offer.
I tried to find a video or somebody that took the whooping out, and nobody has.
It's really not that. Like...
No, I know, and I still like it. I like the song is a great song. Just at a certain point, I'm like, man, I really wish this wouldn't whoop every 3 seconds.
You know what was one thing that kind of annoyed me the first time I listened to this album, but doesn't really bother me anymore, is like the tape rewinding sound effect they use. They use it on Bleach and a couple other songs. I don't really notice it anymore, but
yeah.
When I first heard this album, I do remember that kind of annoying me. But now when I hear the tape rewind, I'm like, oh, Bleach is coming on. Like it's like, okay, this is one of the best songs on the album.
Well, like Bleach is another one where I'm like, this is a really good song, but then the second verse has some kind of rap flow where it's like every last 2 words of the flow is really high pitched for no reason.
That's Merlin's verse. And
yeah.
Merlin's like the member that you either love him or you hate him.
I was fine. I was just like, man, why is these last 2 so high pitched for no reason?
His part on Bleach is a little strange. But fun fact, Bleach actually does feature all of the members.
Oh, cool.
In some capacity.
I was kind of curious on why.
And I think it was their very first song that had all of the members in it.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I was wondering why that was like one of the more popular ones.
Yeah, it went like platinum.
From what I understand, like at least YouTube Music didn't show me a music video or anything.
Yeah, Bleach doesn't have a music video, even though it's like one of their most popular songs. Their most popular song is like it blew up on TikTok.
That makes sense. So after they were probably dead.
No, it was like 2019, 2020.
I forget that TikTok's older.
Plays, if you want to look at it.
The plays?
How many plays?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I just noticed that Bleach was way higher.
Yeah, Bleach got 12 million.
Rental has a music video where that's when I noticed that the whole like not every member is on every song kind of thing. I think that one only has 3.
Yeah. It's like Matt, Dom, and Kevin, I think, is the only ones on there.
I do like the singing in that song a lot.
Rental's really good. That's like there's a video on YouTube about it, but it's like this is Matt's like rise to like this is putting him in the spotlight.
Yeah. I like the singing in it a lot.
But really
the lyrics are a little repetitive, but like that's fine.
I think this album, Saturation 3, is Joba's big breakout album. He is everywhere on this album.
Yeah.
For reference, he's the one in Boogie that's like he has the chiropractor verse.
Yeah, my favorite line of the whole song.
He does
the whole album.
He does the verse in Johnny you were talking about. He is all over this album, and he's like not really featured that much in Saturation 1 and 2.
Uh-huh.
But this is his like big breakout one.
Uh-huh. But yeah, no, the chiropractor line is probably my favorite part of this whole album.
That's such a hard line.
Those are just so unhinged. I really liked it. It sounds like nothing else on the whole thing. I was really hoping it would come back.
Yeah, he doesn't really bring like that aggressiveness.
No.
Like
No, it's so
he's
great.
like the really depressing member.
Yeah.
Most of the time. So
not that I could tell the difference between the members, to tell you the truth. So like, I don't know who's saying what, but
okay,
it is fun.
That's kind of a reason why I didn't pick this album sooner when we were on like the 1 week cycle. Because I'm like, there's no way they're gonna.
No, you know.
There is no way they're gonna like get down to any of the members. So I thought maybe 3 weeks like on. They might know some of them.
I watched the music videos earlier.
The music videos help.
Yeah.
The music videos help identify who's who.
I haven't seen the music video. I've seen that animation.
You see the animation, which is close enough.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah, it was basically the music video.
Yeah, I seen that like 6 years ago. Like when it came out, I didn't know anything about this band up until now.
Apparently Boogie's in like The Grinch or something.
Oh, fun.
Really?
Yeah, it's in like that newer Grinch that came out.
Oh, I haven't even seen that. I don't. I guess I'll have to.
Just during like my research just to kind of like find some fun facts.
Isn't that the one that Tyler Creator did the soundtrack for?
I think so. Yes. Which checks out because Brockhampton is kind of just like an Odd Future.
Yeah.
Like, sort of. You know, like they're one of those kind of. I will say I don't really have too many grievances about this album. The one thing I can probably criticize is I don't really think the cinema interludes with Roberto are super necessary.
I wrote it right here.
That's your number one.
I don't feel like the cinnamon songs added anything.
Right. Yeah. If there was one thing I could take out from this album, it would be them. I don't mind that they're there, but
I think total
also,
they're like 2.5 minutes. So like really.
Yeah, I don't mind that they're there necessarily, but I also don't see the point.
Yeah.
It's just kind of, I think it's just there to give Roberto a spotlight. And I don't really know what he does for the band. But
He eats a banana.
He's there.
I watched music videos like right before you guys came over.
Honestly, I think that's his main thing is to introduce the music videos. He goes, "Me llamo Roberto," and blah blah blah.
Yeah. The best rapping and production I think was on Sister Nation. It's definitely the fastest. It's not the talking flow that they did for most of the rest of the album.
Sister is a weird song.
Yeah.
It's like prog. It's like prog rock but rap.
Yeah. No, it's like basically 3 kind of songs. I like the first one of those little halves more because then it gets into Get Your Man All Up Off Me for like a minute straight.
You talking about on Nation?
Yeah.
Nation has a really good verse from Dom on it. When he's like in the eyes of the law.
Yeah.
That part.
Yeah, no, there's a handful of cool like lyrics as well like that where like I like the line of I thought my world was progressive because my president was black in Team, but I hate the first 2.5 minutes of that song.
Oh really? So you don't like Bareface then? 'Cause that's him.
It's so
different.
up and down.
It's Team is like, you know, after you listen to all these songs and Bareface comes on with Team, you're like, is this still Saturation 3?
Yeah, it seemed like it could have been a better album closer, but I don't know.
I like Team a lot.
Yeah.
I think it's so weird and it shouldn't fit at all, but it does.
I feel like I'm just going really at this, and I liked it.
So it also does kind of a cool thing, which has really no effect on the album at all, but Saturation 1, all the songs, 4 letters, all caps, except the last song, which is 5 letters. Saturation 2, all of them are 5 letters, last song, 6 letters. Saturation
This one
3,
is not like that?
6 letters, all the songs, except for the last one, which goes back to 4.
Oh, that makes sense.
Just like a neat
Is that why
Easter egg that they do.
Is that why it's Sister/Nation?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's exactly why.
That's cheating.
Cinema is cheating because it doesn't actually do that.
Well, we
because 1, 2, and 3.
We don't count cinema.
I don't know if you guys want to go to closing thoughts on it. I don't have anything else.
I thought it was like really chaotic in a good way and fun. Like the whole album, like all the songs kind of blended together in like one big chaotic mess. But I liked it.
But in a good, it's cohesive
in a good way.
In a way, yeah.
Yeah.
It shouldn't work, but it does.
Yeah, it's kind of like 100, whatever number of gex.
100, 10,000, 1 million gex.
That's kind of the
All
vibe
the
it
gex.
reminded me of just like chaos, but good still somehow.
Yeah, I mean, they know their craft. Like, all of them kind of bring something different to the table, and for them to incorporate all of their different styles of rapping and lyricism amongst your crazy beats, which you may or may not like with the whooping, but
I watched a live video of Boogie too, because I just wanted to know.
They perform Boogie weird live. Like it's they don't have the same energy.
Yeah.
I've seen that.
But I did like this album. For some reason, I really went hard on it in my writing of the album. I actually really like the vulnerability of the lyrics. I think it's not something I normally see in rap all that much. There's a lot of introspection and just really almost beating down on themselves.
Yeah, like I was gonna say it's mostly Joba, but then I thought like, no, they all kind of do it.
If it didn't have that, I wouldn't like it. Like the lyrics were the standout of this album for me. Not that Boogie's all that deep. But
I was gonna
it's
say,
really fun.
Boogie's not supposed to be deep.
Yeah. I don't actually have a score written down, so I'm just gonna let that sit for a bit. My favorites were Boogie, Stupid, and Sister Nation. Least favorite was probably Liquid. Liquid's only like a minute and a half though, so like it can't really be that hard. But it's got a really weird poop line.
Liquid is also if we're not counting cinema, Liquid's my least favorite.
It's got a poop line and it also has the kid voice. So like a minute and a half of just things that I don't like. But go ahead, do some closing thoughts. I'll think of a score.
Okay. So I genuinely like every song on this album except for Liquid, which I don't hate, but it's too short.
It's a minute and a half. I can't really judge it that hard.
But every other song, like, Boogie, Zipper, Bleach, Rental, Stains, and Hottie are super underrated.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even think we talked about them too.
No, Hottie's good. I don't have it written down, but
Team I like, which I know you weren't really keen on the first
half of it.
You didn't like Bareface. I get it. You're just driving away all our European audience.
Good. Get out.
You probably don't like the ending to Bleach either, which he's on.
I didn't write anything about it, so probably it's fine.
But no, I really like this album. And I like all of their bodies of work, but not quite as much as Saturation 3. I think Saturation 3 is like their peak. There's a lot of the fans that kind of like to compare the Saturation trilogy, as you do.
Yeah.
And a lot of people say 2 is the best, but I think 3 is like where they really all come into their own.
Yeah, honestly, I don't know if you're planning on making us listen to more anytime soon or whenever, but I'll probably check out some other stuff, some popular songs from the other albums.
I'd like to check out more.
I would check out Sugar just to see if you guys have heard it, because like it blew up on TikTok. It is like they did like a Dua Lipa remix with her.
Dua Lipa's cool. So it's probably pretty good.
I was actually like going back and forth on whether I should pick the album that's on or this, but like this one's my favorite. So.
Yeah, it's fun. Tammy, score now.
6.5.
Okay. So my brain really wants to keep things organized and give it a 7.5 because I gave the other two that. I'll probably go with a 7 instead.
Oh man, I missed the half score there.
I want to give it to you just because of organization and OCD. But
7 and 6.5. Boy, like I really want to give it a 10, but I don't think I can because Liquid and the cinema.
So many 10s. I'm gonna go back and give like Pacific a 10.
Like
for no reason.
Like I hardly ever give out the 10s. Like I really want to with this album.
Timmy also doesn't. That's why I was surprised. It's basically Pink Floyd in this.
Yeah, I think that is it.
But I don't know.
None of us really do.
This album is so replayable to me that like it doesn't get old. I can go back to it any time and listen to it. And to me, I don't know. That seems like a 10. I don't know.
I would.
Yeah.
Not gonna talk you out of it.
No. I decided it's a 10.
It's a 10. Okay.
What were you gonna say though?
Just that I feel like your gripes are like 4 minutes of like a 4.
They're very minor. Yeah.
It's like a minute and a half things or like little interludes.
When you were kind of joking with Timmy and you said, "Oh, you can't have any criticism on a 10 album." I think you can.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to. There is no perfect, flawless album.
I gave Nothing More a 10, and I have songs on that I don't care for as much as others. Like it's not. I get it.
Yeah, I mean, like literally, like Liquid, I don't hate, but
yeah,
and then I can do without the cinema. But everything else, I think is brilliant. So you didn't. Okay,
you guys throwing out 10s.
I know. I did not expect.
It makes me so happy.
I didn't expect that when I was. It's a 7.8.
2 10s in one session.
That's crazy.
Makes me happy. I should have picked a different album.
That's only happened.
I'm just kidding. I'm really happy I picked mine.
That's only happened once, and it was when we reviewed Pink Floyd.
Yeah.
And we both gave it a 10.
But that being said, that was the same album, though.
Yeah. I was gonna say, yeah.
This is just the same episode. I don't think that was the same round, though.
And that's weird because Pink Floyd also didn't get a very good average, even though it
because the rest of us didn't like it at all.
It got 2 10s. I wonder why that is.
There are also 5 people in that also don't like Pink Floyd.
Did Ty review that one?
Yep.
She was in there.
Yeah, I wonder what
all of us were like
if
3 or less.
cut
Like
out our former members.
a lot higher, because I was higher than them.
Yeah.
Pink Floyd revisited when you were here.
So, fun little side note for people that have listened this far.
Thank you, by the way.
We had a 2-year anniversary of this group on the 16th.
Woo.
We actually started this, or I pitched it. On the 15th. The first album that I announced and made them listen to was on the 16th of June of 2 years ago. So we just started recording this, I know, but like, yay, we've been doing this for a bit, just to show you that it's not actually going to burn, and we're still going to do it because we must enjoy it a little bit to waste 2 years of our lives doing it.
We've been doing this a lot longer than we've been recording our thoughts.
Yeah. This little group out ages my daughter.
That's true.
Yeah.
Like, this started in June, and she was born in August. But yeah, just a cool little side note. Thanks for listening. We're going to keep doing this, even though I made a billion jokes about burning it down and giving away our stardom to the UK. We seriously had like no other UK listeners until the last episode.
That's crazy.
Other than like 112 in one day. We just
crapped
the whole country.
I just picked Arctic Monkeys because I thought that was like a neat album.
It is.
I didn't.
We didn't even actually give it a bad score. We were just middling on it.
Yeah.
Our main criticism was like it's too British, and I wasn't a 20-year-old British person in the pubs in 2005.
I didn't mention that I like their drummer a lot. Just British people, if you want to listen to an hour and 20 minutes into this.
Arctic Monkeys drummer?
Yeah, he's pretty good.
He does the singing parts on the dance floor. Like
okay, cool.
I
didn't know that either.
Like the back calling.
Well, there are some good drumming from the Arctic Monkeys that I didn't actually add to our review. But that was our gimmick round.
It was
another 5.
We're back to just picking whatever you want.
Yeah, my brain kind
4
of...
weeks, 4 episodes.
I like to words. I like to group things. So really, every time we do a gimmick round, my voice cracked.
It's like a reset.
Yeah, in my brain.
Yeah.
It's always like hey, this is the first round again. Even though it's really 5, and the next episode's going to be called 6.
Even though it's been like months. But yeah, I kind of think like that too. It's like each gimmick round starts like a new... Yeah. Like, it's like a new chapter in a book.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah. We do this every 3 weeks, but like, it's kind of new again. I don't know what order you want to pick in, but I kind of have like a reveal for mine. So, I'll go last.
All right.
Okay.
Well, Timmy, you want to go rock, paper, scissors? Or...
Yeah!
All right.
You mentioned that earlier. So wait, okay, is it who wins we'll pick first, second?
Whatever you guys want to do. I'm not in this, so.
We'll say whoever wins will pick first. We just get one shot, no 2 out of 3.
I've been really animated.
We got, all right, live rock, paper, scissors. Paper, scissors, shoot. Oh.
Both say it at the same time.
All right, I will pick first.
Okay.
Not Timmy, just play it. Blow out yours. No me.
Mine's too long to blur.
So,
Brandon's is picking Arctic Monkeys again to reclaim our...
No, I teased earlier. I'm picking a Canadian band.
Arctic Monkeys.
Anyway, without further ado, this next round, we're going to be listening to Rush, Moving Pictures.
Okay.
Cool.
I actually don't know that.
You know, it's got YYZ, Tom Sawyer.
Anytime I go to Rush, I always listen to 2112.
All right, well, Timmy,
right, cool.
as the loser of rock, paper, scissors, you get a good song.
Loser.
Well, I'm kind of continuing the previous thing and picking another gay artist. I'm picking The Rise and Fall of a Midwest Princess by Chapel Roan.
Who wrote
I've heard of her. She's been blowing up.
Who wrote an album about my rise and fall?
Chapel Roan?
Yeah, she's been like kind of on that Billie Eilish trajectory of like, it's like, oh, who is this?
Yeah, she apparently almost quit music, and then she just blew up like this year.
Man, that's so unfortunate. To blow up right when
To spontaneously combust.
She exploded.
Thank you, this guy over here.
I didn't know where you were going
that's
for
a
a
good-
second.
I got it. That's good.
Burn it down. This podcast is ending today.
Okay.
Even though we're gonna be back in 2 weeks and whatever else.
I feel like I have a feeling of what you're gonna pick, and I hope I'm wrong.
21 Pilots again. I'm just kidding.
I thought you were gonna pick their new album.
It's not that. To spoil a little bit, I do think it's their best.
Great. That definitely means we're listening to it
at some point. The problem is that I honestly want to work up to it, so you have to listen to all of it.
This is what you've done. You just have us living in fear.
That's why I have to space it out. I can't be 21 Pilots. I'll. What's funny about them is that they have like a hidden secret album that I'll be like, hey, this one's this. You would think we're done, and we're not. I wouldn't do that because it's really hard to listen to. But where we last left our good friend Aaron West, he was living in South Carolina. And we're going to listen to the second album and finish or go further into the story that we started 2 sessions ago.
We're not finishing the story.
Nope, there's one more after this.
So what's the album?
It's called Routine Maintenance. Also has a house on the cover.
That's as a lot of emo albums tend to do.
Here's the weird thing about it, though. There is an EP in between those two albums. So I'm going to let you guys choose if you guys would rather have that be a part of it, like an extra credit thing. It is...
Might as well.
Well, it's your call. Like, does it affect
No,
the story?
I mean, no, yeah. There's a 3-song EP that's 15 minutes, and then there's a single that came out after that is 3 minutes that connect the first to the second album. I can just tell you what happened, or we can listen to it and make it like an extra credit thing. Up to you guys.
I don't know. To be decided, I guess. We don't have to like do that now.
No, it doesn't add that much. I think there's just probably a little. I have listened to them because I didn't know if I was going to assign them or not. But again, I haven't listened to Routine Maintenance again, so I'm going to finish my story because I know the ending.
Yeah, you haven't listened to this album,
but I'm seeing them on Wednesday, so I needed to. I needed to get that in. But you guys liked it. I wanted to continue it. Maybe we'll get our UK viewership back.
Yeah.
Where's Chapel Roan from?
America.
Darn.
Somewhere in the Midwest.
I was gonna say that sounds like a very British name,
It does.
It does say Midwest Princess.
but you know, it could be a story.
I thought it was fun that one was the one that blew up because like the YouTube algorithm and stuff. I put 4 people smoking on the front of that.
Yeah,
thumbnail.
she's from Missouri.
It's like, I thought it was funny to take the face and not do our faces. And I was like, this one's not going to be shown to anybody. I was wrong.
Yeah, it's just the Arctic Monkeys guy like
Smoking.
4 times.
I'm just going to use the pictures I was going to use last time for this one.
I figured, are you gonna use like the saturation cover this time?
Oh, maybe. I could.
You could just make us all blue.
There's a face on Timmy's this time too. I could just keep doing the faces.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna do.
Cool.
Well, thanks for finishing this dumpster fire. That was this episode.
Yeah, this was kind of a mess.
I say that, but you guys both gave 10s, and like,
We got there in the end.
I'm happy about it.
I was just channeling my album, which is very chaotic and kind of messy.
You need a broken episode every now and again. Again, you guys gave 10s. Not broken to me. I'm happy about it. But thank you.
Yes.
Do a little stupid thing at the end, where if you want to like the video, it actually shows it to people. Kind of like last time.
Show your European friends. Apparently.
So do the YouTube thing, like and subscribe.
I'd like to tell you about this game I've been playing. It's called Raid Shadow Legends. It's called...
You should try
Did we get
Factor
a sponsorship?
Factor Meals. Yeah, they've seen our 200 views and they're like, these guys. We're gonna get so much.
All right. Well, I think that about wraps it up.
Yeah, that's it. Thanks.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
That's really animated. This one
I was-
said, Timmy, I'm waiting for a burp.
I was waiting on Timmy to burp.
Sorry, I don't have one.